not create jobs. Raising taxes on people make it harder for enterprises to grow and hire people. I will not raise taxes on small business. I'll not raise taxes on business. I'll not raise taxes on middle-income people. I won't raise taxes at all on the American people.
We left out there, and take that, Dave Stockman. Mitt Romney making clear today that he has no intention of raising taxes. He will close a number of loopholes that will allow those who escape the tax man to revisit the tax man, something Dave's old boss Ronald Reagan tried in 1986. But he's not going to raise taxes. So he says, you don't like that. You think taxes have to be raised.
Yeah, he's right in theory. Taxes are always bad. They do hurt economic growth. They do hurt incentives.
But do you get any revenue from
on the other hand, when you have a government spending $3.8 trillion and you're running for president and you're unwilling to cut 75% of it as a matter of principle, which is where Romney is, won't cut defense, won't cut Social Security. Medicare is off till 2023.
He was open to curbing the growth in these programs.
No, he's not. He's
on Social Security, he has said that we've got to do something that it is at the point where we'll meet the reaper, and that we've got to slow the growth without cutting benefits.
Yeah,
but there is something, and you raised it with me, that
that's where the myth is. They're talking about a 75-year projection where maybe in 2033 you raise the retirement age. I'm saying you have to cut it now, January, next year. People who are
so you don't buy this other stuff, have a different inflation formula. Don't get angry with me. I'm trying to ask you something.
I know.
But you know what I'm saying? That maybe there's a way to adjust the formula so that it doesn't jump as high, as fast, as rapidly, as dangerously as you fear.
You have to basically tell affluent people, there's 55 million on Social Security, there's probably 10 or 15 that have private pensions, that have private assets.
You don't get it.
You don't get it, or you're going to be cut back dramatically.
Well, that should go well.
You have to tell people.
That should go well.
Well, the point is, I know that we say it won't go well. Okay, then the answer is, if you're not going to do that, or if you're not going to take Medicare on right now, not like Ryan in 2023, but right now, and begin to make people pay much higher premiums and cut back on the benefits. If you're not going to do that, you need massive tax increases to pay our bills. And if you're unwilling to have massive tax increases, you're kicking it on to the next generation and the one after that.
But
you're taking
fundamentally, isn't the tax increase getting in the way of the old budget director, David Stockman, who argued, charging more for something encourages sloth, right? I mean, we never address the underlying problem with spending. We keep spending, especially if more money's coming in.
But I've just explained, most of the money is Medicare, Social Security, and defense, and you have a conservative candidate who doesn't want to cut any of them.
But do you think, you raise a good point, and maybe you're right. I think that Jimmy Stewart in you is right here. The people are open to this. They know if he goes to young people and says, look, I want to protect your Medicare, your Social Security, the rate we're going, you're not going to have it.
Right.
If we make these adjustments now, I raise the retirement age, scale back benefits for the well-to-do, we save it for everybody. I think that argument could be more well-received than you think.
Yeah, but if no one is even tabling the argument, if you're not willing to discuss it out loud with the American public, I can tell you, because
whatever overtures you've seen out of Paul Ryan ain't cutting it.
No, not at all. Look at his plan. He doesn't touch Social Security. He doesn't get to Medicare.
And look how he's vilified. He's all but throwing Granny off the cliff.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's how dysfunctional.
Well, who do you like more then? Who shows more resolve, Mitt Romney or Barack Obama?
I don't know. They're
Who do you hate
bad.
less?
I think they're equally bad because...
Really? No, you've got to think one is more bad than the other.
Well, on the fiscal question, frankly, we're nearly broke, and one of them says 98% of the people get no tax increase, the other says 100. One of them says no defense increase. Obama has done nothing about defense in his entire term. Obama says no Social Security cut. Romney says, I agree with you, sir. Medicare, they make a big fuss about, and they remind people nothing's going to happen for the next decade.
So you're going to step this election out? You're not going to vote?
I see there is nothing to be gained on my issue, the fiscal issue, the core of what's threatening our economy, our way of life, our future. I cannot see that we would make any headway.
So the worries that you had more than 3 decades ago, you still have today. You obviously, and I know you've written about this, talked about this, painted a worrisome picture for Ronald Reagan back then. Did he ignore you then? Did he think you were being a crepe hanger? What?
Well, the thing was, that was morning again in America. We had a clean balance sheet. We only had $1 trillion worth of national debt. It was a small fraction of our GDP.
Well, the argument
now
was that you were bumming him
later.
out. You were bumming everybody out.
No, but it's 30 years later. We've used up all of the balance sheet.
I know, but at the time, did he say, Dave, stop it, you're depressing me?
No, he basically said, one, the deficit was inherited from Jimmy Carter, so let's blame him. And secondly, let's cut fraud, waste, and abuse, but he was unwilling to take on Social Security.
So he was of the view that you boom your way out of something like this, and that would solve the problem. You told him then, not entirely, which is essentially your argument today.
Well, we didn't. We had a bit of a boom, yes, but we also added
25 million jobs.
Well, we
more
added,
than a bit of a boom.
Well, you could call it a boom, but we added $2 trillion to the national debt under Bush or under Reagan and the 4 Bush years after.
Who's your favorite president?
My favorite president is Eisenhower at the moment.
Really?
Yes, and maybe Coolidge and Hoover wasn't all that bad.
With Fillmore take fourth, I mean,
Grover Cleveland wasn't so bad either.
Well, yeah, two different.